1. e4, Karpov, a 16-year-old already feared for his profound positional understanding, opens with the king's pawn. While this move can lead to wild tactical battles, in Karpov's hands, it often becomes a gateway to deep strategic struggles. This choice immediately poses a question to his opponent and initiates a fight for central control, setting the stage for the kind of intricate and complex game where Karpov's subtle maneuvering and long-term planning could be used to their fullest and most devastating effect, a hallmark of his style even at this early stage of his career, demonstrating his universal approach to the game. 1. c5, Wallach responds with the Sicilian defense, the most combative and popular reply to 1. e4. By choosing the Sicilian, he immediately creates an asymmetrical pawn structure and signals his intention to fight for the full point, avoiding quiet, drawish lines. This sets the stage for a dynamic and strategically rich battle, a perfect canvas for a player of Karpov's immense talent to display his profound understanding of the game's subtle nuances and long-term plans. The choice promises a tense and exciting struggle, a direct challenge to the young prodigy's strategic ambitions. 2. g3, Karpov immediately signals his intention to play a fianchetto system. This is a profound strategic choice that sidesteps the wild, tactical main lines of the open Sicilian. Instead of blasting the center open with an early d4, Karpov opts for a slow, maneuvering game. He aims to build his position methodically, control key squares, and slowly suffocate his opponent with positional pressure. This choice is a testament to his already deep understanding of strategy and his preference for a more controlled, less chaotic style of play, a clear foreshadowing of his future world champion style that would dominate the chess world. 2. nc6, Black develops symmetrically, continuing with one of the most solid and reliable setups against this fianchetto system. The knight is developed to its most natural square, from where it will fight for control of the key central squares, particularly d4 and e5, and prepare to challenge white's plans. The game is now set for a deep positional struggle, where the subtle maneuvering of the pieces will be more important than any immediate tactical fireworks. Both players are showing a preference for a strategic battle of wits and deep planning. 3. bg2, Karpov's bishop takes its powerful post on g2. It is now the most important piece in white's position, the strategic anchor of his entire setup. From this square, it controls the center from the flank, keeps an eye on the black queenside, and prepares to support a future kingside expansion. The bishop on g2 is a long-term weapon that will only grow in strength as the game progresses and more lines are opened. It is the cornerstone of white's strategic plan in this opening, a silent but deadly guardian of the long diagonal that will influence the game until its very end. 3. g6, Black decides to mirror white's setup, creating a double fianchetto position. This is a very logical and solid response. By fianchettoing his own bishop, Wallach aims to neutralize white's pressure on the long diagonal and create his own sources of counterplay. The game will now become a fascinating battle of the dragon bishops, where the player who can make their fianchettoed bishop superior will likely gain the upper hand. The strategic battle is now clearly defined and promises a complex duel of positional understanding and subtle maneuvering. 4. In a2, Karpov chooses a flexible and subtle development for his knight. By developing to e2 instead of the more common f3, he keeps his f-pawn free to advance later, which is a key attacking idea in these structures. The f4 pawn push will be used to challenge black's central control and to launch a kingside attack. This knight on e2 is a multi-purpose piece, ready to support the center or to be rerouted to the kingside, a demonstration of his deep and flexible strategic thinking and his patient approach to the opening. For bg7, Black completes his own fianchetto, and the dragon bishops are now staring each other down across the long diagonals. Black's bishop on g7 is also a very powerful piece, putting pressure on white's d4 square and the entire white position. The strategic battle is now clearly defined. It will be a slow, maneuvering game where both sides will try to prove the superiority of their fianchetto setup and their overall strategic plan. The symmetry is striking but tense, and the first player to find a way to break it will gain a significant advantage. 5. King's safety is the first priority. Karpov completes his development by castling his king to safety. With his king now secure and his pieces well coordinated, he is ready to begin the more active phase of his plan. Castling also brings the rook into the game, where it can support the f-pawn's advance and participate in a future kingside attack. The opening phase is now complete, and the complex middle game battle, a pure strategic duel, is about to begin in earnest, a testament to his disciplined play. 5. d6. Black solidifies his pawn structure, creating a small but solid center and further restricting the scope of White's light-squared bishop. This is a necessary move to prepare for the coming middle game battle and to ensure that his position remains without any glaring weaknesses. The game continues to be a slow, strategic build-up, with both sides patiently improving their positions before embarking on any active operations. The pawn on d6 is a solid anchor for Black's position, a crucial defensive element. 6. c3, a very subtle and mature move. This is a classic Karpovian idea that prepares the central advance d4, creating a strong pawn center and challenging Black's control of the middle. By playing c3 first, he creates a very solid pawn fortress, controls the key d4 square, and prepares to support a queenside expansion if needed. It is a quiet but very flexible move that keeps Black guessing about White's long-term plans, a hallmark of his deep strategic understanding. 6. e5, a very important and committal move by Black. He creates a Botvinnik setup in the center, with pawns on e5 and d6. This creates a very solid pawn chain and severely restricts the scope of White's powerful bishop on g2, a key strategic goal for Black. However, it also creates a permanent weakness on the d5 square, a hole that a player of Karpov's caliber will be quick to try and exploit. The game's strategic character has now been clearly and irrevocably defined. 7. na3, a very unusual and deep knight tour, a move that showcases Karpov's incredible originality and deep positional feel even at this young age. Instead of developing the knight to a normal square, he sends it on a long journey to the queenside. The knight is heading for the c2 square, from where it will perfectly support the crucial d4 pawn break and control key squares on the queenside. This is a masterful repositioning that prepares the central confrontation. 7. ng7, Black develops his final knight, connecting his pieces and preparing to fight for the central squares. The opening phase is now complete for both sides, and the complex middle game battle is about to begin. The position is very closed and strategic, and the player with the deeper understanding of the positional nuances will be the one to prevail. The game is a true testament to the richness of these closed, strategic openings, a perfect battleground for a player like Karpov. 8. nc2, the knight tour is complete. The knight arrives at its intended post, and it is a masterpiece of positional maneuvering. From c2, the knight is perfectly placed to support the impending d4 advance, control the key d4 and b4 squares, and participate in operations on either side of the board. This is a beautiful example of a deep and subtle plan being executed to perfection, a clear sign of the immense talent of the 16-year-old. 8-0, Black gets his king to safety, a necessary move before the position opens up and the tactical complications begin. By castling, he also brings his rook into the game, where it can be used to defend the kingside or to create counterplay in the center. The position is now set for a major confrontation in the center, and both sides must play with great precision to avoid making a fatal mistake. The game is balanced on a knife's edge, a true thriller of strategic tension. 9. d4, the breakthrough. Having spent the entire opening patiently and masterfully preparing for this moment, Karpov now unleashes the d4 pawn thrust. This move blasts open the center, challenges Black's control, and transforms the quiet, maneuvering game into a sharp, tactical battle. This is the culmination of his opening strategy, and it is a clear signal that he is now ready to fight for the initiative and create direct threats against the Black position. The game is about to explode into a fiery confrontation. 9 exd4, Black is practically forced to capture the pawn, as allowing White to consolidate his control of the center would be disastrous. By exchanging pawns, he opens the d-file and clarifies the central situation. The position is now much more open, and the activity of the pieces will be the decisive factor in the coming middle game. The tactical complications are just beginning, and both sides must play with great precision to navigate the new landscape of the board. 10 cxd4, Karpov recaptures, and he has now created a classic isolated queen's pawn structure for Black on the d6 pawn. This is a profound strategic transformation of the position. The isolated pawn on d6 can be a strength, as it supports key squares, but it is more often a chronic, long-term weakness that can be blockaded and attacked. Karpov, the positional genius, will now focus all his efforts on exploiting this weakness, a plan he will execute with ruthless precision. 10. F5, a very sharp and aggressive counterstrike from Wallach. He understands that if he plays passively, Karpov will slowly but surely squeeze him and win the game. By playing F5, he challenges White's control of the center and the kingside immediately, seeking to create his own attacking chances and to complicate the game. This is a double-edged decision, as it also weakens his own king's position, but it is the most active and ambitious plan. 11. B3, a strong developing move that also serves a deep strategic purpose. The bishop is developed to an active square, from where it eyes the weak d4 pawn and controls key squares. More importantly, it prepares to challenge Black's control of the long diagonal and to participate in a future attack on the kingside. Every move by Karpov is part of a coherent and harmonious plan, a testament to his incredible positional feeling and foresight. 11. Fx4, Black resolves the tension on the kingside, but this is a risky decision that opens more lines for White's better coordinated pieces. By exchanging on e4, he has opened the f-file and has created a new weakness in his position on the e6 square. While it removes the immediate pressure of the f4 pawn, it gives Karpov new targets to attack and accelerates the development of White's initiative. The position is becoming increasingly dangerous for Black. 12. Dxc5, the tactical phase begins in earnest, and Karpov shows his sharp side. Instead of recapturing the pawn on e4 immediately, he plays this powerful intermediate move, creating a new and more dangerous threat against the d6 pawn. This is a demonstration of excellent tactical vision and a deep understanding of the position's dynamic potential. He is creating chaos that his better coordinated pieces can exploit, and Black is forced to react to this new threat. 12. Dxc5, Black is forced to capture the pawn, but now the position has completely opened up. The pawn structure is shattered, and the game will be decided by raw piece activity and precise tactical calculation. While the position is a complete mess, it is a mess that favors White, as his pieces are better placed to take advantage of the open lines and the weaknesses in Black's position. The game is now a pure tactical brawl. 13. Bxc5, Karpov recaptures the pawn, and his bishop now lands on the c5 square like a monster. It is an incredibly powerful piece, attacking the f8 rook, controlling key diagonals, and completely paralyzing Black's position. This is the first concrete and decisive payoff for his superior opening strategy and his brilliant tactical play. The bishop on c5 is a dagger aimed at the heart of Black's position, and there is no easy way to deal with it. 13. Bg4, Black desperately tries to create some counterplay with a pin on the e2 knight. This is his last hope in a very difficult position. He is trying to create some confusion and to distract Karpov from his main plan of consolidating his advantage and launching a decisive attack. However, the young Karpov has calculated everything with unerring precision and is not intimidated by these last-ditch efforts. 14. Qxd8, a brilliant and decisive decision. The master of the endgame strikes again. Karpov forces the trade of queens, understanding that the resulting endgame is completely and utterly winning for him. He has correctly judged that with his superior piece activity, Black's structural weaknesses, and the powerful bishop on c5, the endgame will be a simple matter of technique. This is a hallmark of his style, simplifying into a one position with ruthless efficiency. 14. Rfxd8, Black recaptures with the rook, and the queens are now off the board. The game has transitioned into an endgame, but the relief is only temporary. Black is now in a terrible endgame, where his pieces are uncoordinated, his pawn structure is a mess, and he has to face the full force of White's perfectly coordinated and active pieces. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. 15. Nc3, the knight joins the attack with decisive effect. It is heading for the powerful d5 outpost, from where it will create new and decisive threats against the Black position. With the queens off the board, the power of the minor pieces is amplified, and Karpov's knights are far superior to their Black counterparts. All of White's pieces are working in perfect harmony to execute the winning plan. 15. Nd5, a desperate attempt by Black to create a blockade and to challenge White's control of the center. The knight on d5 is an active piece, but it is also a target, and Karpov will soon find a way to harass it and drive it back. This is a futile gesture in a lost position, a last attempt to create some confusion before the inevitable end. 16, next 4, Karpov wins a key pawn, and the rest is a matter of pure, flawless technique. He has successfully converted his significant positional advantage into a decisive material one. The game is now completely winning for him, and he will not let his opponent off the hook. The execution of the win will be a beautiful and instructive example of endgame mastery from the 16-year-old prodigy. 16, b2, the bishop creates a nuisance, attacking the rook on d1. This is black's only active piece, and he is trying to use it to create some counterplay and to distract Karpov from his main plan. However, it is a temporary annoyance, and Karpov will deal with it calmly and efficiently before continuing with his winning plan. He is not flustered by these small threats. 17, f1, the rook simply moves out of the way, and white's advantage remains overwhelming. Karpov is not distracted by black's desperate attempts at counterplay and remains focused on the main goal, consolidating his advantage and winning the game. This is a demonstration of incredible composure and deep positional understanding from the 16-year-old. He is playing with the precision of a seasoned grandmaster. 17, bd3, the bishop continues to be annoying, but it is black's only active piece, and it cannot hold the position together on its own. The bishop on d3 is a nuisance, but it is also a target, and Karpov will soon find a way to trap it or to trade it off. The position is completely hopeless for black, and the end is near. 18, nd6, the knight lands on the crushing d6 outpost. It is a monster, a dagger aimed at the heart of black's position. It forks the rook on d8 and the pawn on f7, and it creates decisive and unstoppable threats. This is the culmination of the attack, and it is a beautiful and fitting end to a masterful game. The position is completely and utterly lost for black. 18, nf6, the knight tries to defend, but it is a hopeless task. The white pieces are too strong, and the position is lost. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to Karpov's genius. The position is completely hopeless, and the end is near. The knight on f6 is a helpless spectator. 19, nxb7, the knight captures the rook pawn, winning more material and shattering black's queenside. The game is over, and these are just the last gasps of a dying position. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to Karpov's genius. The position is completely hopeless. The knight on b7 is a monster. 19, bxc2, black captures the knight, but it is a Pyrrhic victory. White's remaining pieces are too strong, and the position is lost. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to Karpov's genius. The position is completely hopeless. The bishop on c2 is a nuisance, but it is also very exposed. 20, nxd8, the knight captures the rook, and white is now up a clean exchange with a completely winning position. The rest is a matter of pure, flawless technique. The game is over, and the execution of the win will be a beautiful and instructive example of endgame mastery from the 16-year-old prodigy. The defensive task is impossible. 20, rxd8, black recaptures, but the position is hopeless. White has a decisive material advantage, and his pieces are far more active. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to Karpov's genius. The position is completely hopeless. The end is near. 21, Rak1, the final piece joins the attack. With the rook coming to the c-file, all of Karpov's pieces are now perfectly coordinated for the final assault. The rook on c1 will deliver the final blows, and there is no way for black to defend against the coming storm. The pressure is unbearable, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless. 21, rc8, a desperate attempt to create a fortress, but it is easily broken. The black pieces are uncoordinated and passive, and they cannot put up any meaningful resistance. The game is over, and these are just the last gasps of a dying position. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless. 22. Bxc6, a simple but crushing move. The bishop captures the knight, removing a key defender and preparing the final combination. This is a demonstration of ruthless efficiency from the young Karpov. He is not interested in playing on, he is going for the knockout blow. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to his genius. 22. Rxc6, black recaptures with the rook, but white's next move is decisive and forces immediate resignation. The position is completely lost, and there is no way for black to continue the game. The defensive task is impossible, and the end is near. The execution of the win is flawless, and the result is a testament to Karpov's genius. 23. Rxc2, the final, brutal blow. The rook captures the bishop, and white is now up a full rook with a completely winning position. Black has no choice but to resign in the face of this overwhelming material and positional advantage. A perfect technical conversion after a deep strategic opening and a brilliant tactical middle game from the 16-year-old prodigy. 1-0.